So today's video comes courtesy of Supernova Hair. You guys know I've worked with this company a few times and I absolutely... So I'm going to do basically a little tutorial of what I do pretty much after I make my wigs. I did bleach the knots off camera, but then you're going to see me pretty much what the wig looks like immediately after I'm done making it. Mind you, I did the hot glue gun method, but it's the same method when I do the sew method. And from there, I pretty much will add my elastic band, and then I'll also cut off the lace, or the excess lace. A lot of people always ask me, how do I cut off the lace and how to, what do I do after? So this is kind of a video that pretty much is going to show you exactly what I do from literally the moment that the wig is done, to the moment that it's like this. You're going to see me tweeze the hairline and all of that as well. Keep in mind that number one, I did use the hot glue gun method. Number two, I am tweezing the hairline and trimming it and making baby hair for you guys on camera because the lace did appear dense. But please note that what the lace closure of the hairline looks like when it's dry sometimes looks different than what it looks like when it's wet. I did bleach the knots on this closure, and I co-washed the rest of the hair before a few days ago actually, and it air dried. So when you see the hair in its natural state after being washed, air dried, and no product put in it, it looks very dense around the hairline. But as you see when it's wet, this is not dense at all. And because I did bleach the knots, I would not recommend going in and tweezing it super far back, because what happens with your lace closures is when you bleach the knots, it changes the dynamic in the sense that the hair, you'll experience hair loss with your frontals. So a lot of times people will look at my frontals and be like, it's not natural, it's not natural. If I go thinner than this and make it natural, within a week or two, it's going to be bald, because I made the choice to bleach the knots. And from this point forward, it's going to shed more and more. Like for example, if I just go like this and just pull this piece of hair, I don't want to make a bald spot, but if I go like this and pull this hair, it's going to come out super easy, because by manipulating the lace and bleaching the knots, this is just going to fall out super easy. And that's with any lace frontal or lace closure. When you bleach the knots, it makes it so much easier for the hair to just shed and basically experience hair loss in the front. Let me show you guys a little bit closer. When it was wet, this looked super dense, but if you see close up, it's not necessarily dense. Like, I can go in, of course, and make this a little bit more natural, but the hairline is gonna fall and it's gonna shed on its own naturally. So, you know, I have no desire to make it worse. So with that being said, let's jump into the tutorial and I'll be back with my thoughts on this hair. So I'm going to take a 1.5 inch piece of an elastic band. I'm going to measure it ear to ear exactly, and then I'm going to pull it about another inch, half an inch to an inch. I don't like mine too tight, but I want it tight enough so that it will hold the wig in place. So as you can see, I'm testing it out and make sure it's perfect for me. This is the wig that I just made, and as you can see, I made it to where it has ear tabs, and so that's where the elastic is going to go. We're going to apply the wig and see if we need to cut off any excess of that ear tabs, because a lot of times it's a little bit too low, as you can see here. So I'm just going to measure it out. And after I measure it out, I'm going to just cut off the excess of what I do not need. I'm going to do that on both sides. So now I'm going to fit the elastic exactly where I want it to go and what angle. Sometimes when you're holding your wig and you're holding the elastic, you really don't know where to place it. So the best way to do it is to put the wig on and feel how you want the elastic to sit, and just use some clips or something to hold it in place. Now I'm going to just go ahead and sew it on exactly where it fit nice on my head. And I'm going to do it on both sides, but I'm not going to show because I do have tutorials on how I do this. Just make sure that you stitch it tight enough so that it will not come apart, because that has happened to me before. Now I have the wig back on and I'm happy with how I placed the elastic. So now we're going to cut off the lace. I find the best way to cut your lace off is with the wig on like an elastic, or I'm sorry, a mannequin head. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to just go ahead and do it on my head. Rule of thumb is you rather cut less lace, or basically not make it too close to the hairline if you're afraid of cutting the hair. But there are no rules to this, so if you do cut on the lace, it's actually a good idea to cut it to sort of mimic your own hairline. But you can cut the lace, you can cut the hairline, you can cut the hair, and it will not ruin the wig. It just means the more you cut, the more further you're going back, so that you won't have as much parting space. But I like to get as close as I can so that none of that lace shows, because in the excess you can kind of tell the difference in the color of the lace and my skin. You also can go ahead and change the color of your lace if you want to. If you want to see a video on how I do that, let me know. Basically, to be like just tinting the lace. As you can see, the hairline on this one is pretty dense. When the wig is wet, it doesn't look so dense or bad, but because there is no product in it, it looks super dense. But I'm going to go ahead and section off the part of the hair or the lace frontal that I want to go ahead and tweeze. Now, trust me, this is going to be a long process, so I did cut it short and I did speed it up even faster, but this process alone took me about 45 minutes, and I didn't even go further back in the hairline. So if you really want a detailed tutorial on how to make the hairline look natural, I have one up, but I can do an updated one for you guys to show you guys how it would be to thin out the remainder of the hairline. But just for the sake of this video, ain't nobody got time for that. Also, you will find, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that when you do bleach your knots, it allows the hair to fall or shed much easier than if you don't. So if you don't want that issue, use powder instead of bleach. I did go ahead and trim the hair down to about an inch, half an inch, and I used my Got2b glue gel to go ahead and make some baby hair. By using that Got2b glue gel, it also doubles as a bond, so it'll help to hold my lace in place so that it lays flat and it doesn't move. So it's kind of a win-win situation. Again, this can be thinner, but this lace is going to over time shed. Sometimes it'll shed within a few weeks, sometimes it'll shed within a few months. It really just depends on how long you leave that that bleach on that lace. Here I'm going to use the pull method. I'm just kind of pulling hair out opposed to tweezing. At this point I'm over it and I'm ready to stop. So I just kind of pulled a few strands out at a time to kind of thin out that area. That part I will say can be thinned out much more, but I did go ahead and do that off camera. But like I said, I'm very impatient and my kids are impatient, so I didn't have time to really just... There goes all the hair that I pulled out, mind you. So I really did put in work and I did really speed it up. But this is going to be good for me because for the style that I'm going for, you won't really be able to see this dead on anyways. I'm going to go ahead and do the baby hair on the opposite side. If you're a beginner, the best thing to do is to trim it down and tweeze it as much as you feel comfortable with. And if it still feels too full or dense, but you're unsure, take a break, step away from it, use your scarf to lay it down, come back a few hours later or a day later and see how you feel, because sometimes when you do it and you keep tweezing and you're going for an hour and a half long, you get tired and you may make that mistake of messing up and you can't really take that back. So the one step that I did not do in this video is I usually use a black hairspray to conceal that line of demarcation with that glue on those tracks. That's the only downside to using the hot glue gun method, that you do get that glue there. But one of my subbies did recommend black glue, which I've absolutely never heard of. So you guys know I went ahead and ordered some on Amazon. In my next tutorial like this, I will show how to use that, because that will take care of that problem hopefully. But if you don't have black glue sticks, go ahead and use like a black hairspray, and that'll cover up those glue marks very easy. And as you can see, once you wet the hair, it looks really nice. I'm going to take some wet. I have that and everything else linked in the description bar. And I'm going to go ahead and just style the hair. Look how beautiful that lace is. So pretty. And that's pretty much it. Now on to my thoughts on this hair. pretty much it. I hope that was self-explanatory. This hair is from Supernova. A lot of times I get questions of like what the hair looks like after you co-wash it, because sometimes I don't. And this is what this hair looks like after it's been completely co-washed. All the bundles were co-washed, the frontal was co-washed, and the knots were obviously bleached. I also made this wig using the hot glue gun method, which is why it looked like that in the inside. So I did use really light wig caps to make this wig. If you notice inside the wig, it was really light because I used those light wig caps. And those are sitting back here. That is not where the lace is, so those won't be exposed at all. I really don't use that color at all, so I figured I would just get rid of them or make use of them when I made this wig. And usually I'll double those up. So if you guys want to see a tutorial on how I make my wigs using those kind of caps, it's the same as the hot glue gun method. I just used 2 wig caps instead of the mesh dome cap. But yeah, that pretty much was it. The lengths I have in are 2 20-inch bundles and about half of an 18-inch bundle and a 16-inch lace frontal. I do have a 18-inch bundle left over that I did not need to use. And this is pretty much what the hair looks like when you first get it in its natural state. Pretty much standard for whatever, this is pretty much standard for what you usually will see. The bundles are constructed very well, nice dark brown. It came shipped via DHL in about 3 business days. This is pretty much, with the exception of this little piece right here, this is all the hair that I tweezed out. So imagine spending the last 45 minutes tweezing the hairline, and this is what I got. So when you guys are like, oh, you didn't tweeze it enough, trust me, I tweezed a lot, and because I went ahead and bleached the knots, it's gonna fall, or the hair on the hairline or the hair in the lace is gonna shed naturally. So in about a month or 2, this might go bald based on the fact that I did bleach the knots, and that's just the name of the game and how it usually works, which is why I don't like to go too thin on the hairline. But if you want to go thinner, you know, it's your choice. But trust me, I did put in work. So even if I wanted to go natural or more thin, I would just do this, and then tomorrow I would go in and go thinner if I wanted to. As far as this go, it could be a little bit more gradient, but to be honest, I'm completely content with the way it looks. So if by preference you want it a little bit thinner going back, that's your preference, and you are free to do that. Yeah, I don't have any complaints about this hair. It is beautiful in its natural state. I do have all of the details of the hair listed in the description bar, so make sure that you check out Supernova and the hair. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video with your friends, and hit that like button so that I know that you guys love videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one.